Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. And we are here, my 7th year, doing Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. The first, give you a little history of where we started. We started at the Twist, just down the road here. Our good friends Derek and Julie Pravette, they owned the Twist a few years ago. So they gave me the opportunity to come in and start my show, something I had always wanted to do for quite a while. We were there for 3 years. They sold the place, and we walked over here to Culver's and asked Randy and Honey Smith, good friends of mine. I used to work with Randy years ago, and they said, sure, we'd love to have you come to Culver's. Culver's was just opening at the time, and so this will be our 4th year at Culver's, Bob.
A great place to be.
Isn't it?
Oh, the smell of those burgers right now is just tempting.
I know you're like me. We've been waiting for this moment for quite a while.
We have, yeah.
We went through the whole summer with the FHSA on deciding what they were going to end up doing. I think the people ended up speaking loud enough, and they finally passed the vote for our young men to play. Not only our young men in football, but our swim team, our other sports teams that are going on.
Volleyball, yeah.
Going on in the fall, the volleyball team as well.
Cross country.
They spoke loudly, and a lot of people are very critical of Bobby Johns, the head coach over at Weewa, for the way that he handled it. But you know what? Without him, I don't think we'd be here, Bob.
Absolutely right. It was a much anticipated vote. It also affected those middle school programs who belong to Florida High School Athletic Association, just like the school that I teach at, Emerald Coast. So if they had said no, and the school district might not have had any choice to cancel in Walton County middle school sports. But keep in mind, around here, Okaloosa plays sports, very good teams. Scambia has a smattering of teams as well.
Most definitely. And, I mean, here we are a few weeks late. The first game opening kickoff was supposed to be August 21st.
Right.
The week before was the kickoff classic on the 14th. That didn't happen. But we got delayed. We were supposed to start last Friday night. But unfortunately, this nasty old lady came blowing into our neck of the woods by the name of Hurricane Sally. And she delayed our Friday night game, and that one's done against Milton. So now we're going to start the season this Friday night up in Pace.
Correct. Friday night at Pace.
Unfortunately, we will not be broadcasting the game, but I will be up there, and I'm not sure if Bob's going to make the trip. But we're going to be giving some updates from Pace on Facebook Live, possibly even do a little bit of video while we're up there. But we'll give you updates, and you can find Irish Bill Sports on my Facebook group page. One thing nice that we're doing, we have switched over to YouTube. So we have live, people can chat with us while we're doing the show and while we're doing broadcasts. Isn't that pretty cool?
It is. I mean, it's like we're on NBC or something, and you're Al Michaels and I'm Chris Collinsworth.
I can accept that.
Yeah, Michaels.
But before we get started with our show, we're going to go over last week's scores, this week's schedule. Of course, we can't have a show without predictions. We got our high school and our college predictions coming up this week, minus a couple of games due to that nasty 5-letter word we're not going to mention.
Yeah.
But Bear Great passed away early this morning. Gail Sears passed away.
Yeah. Boy,
at the age of 77, known as the Kansas Comet. You look at his stats, and they don't really jump out at you. But you know what? One of the most elusive running backs, one of the most athletic running backs that ever played in the NFL. He only played 7 seasons. He set a Bears record with 6 touchdowns in 1 game. When he stepped on the field, you knew he was the best player on the field.
And he was one of the figures in the book I Am Third, which involved the late Brian Piccolo.
What a great movie. And folks, if you have never had a chance, it's a little bit of a tearjerker in the end.
It is.
But if you'd ever had the chance to go watch Brian's song, go watch the movie. It's out there, and it's it tells you what football and life is all about.
Right, absolutely.
But Bob and I are going to sit here as long as they let us for the next few weeks, and hopefully the Raiders will go far into the playoffs, and we can show our heads and our faces here every week at Culver's. You can see that normally we have people in the background. Unfortunately, with COVID-19 still going on, no people inside the facility. So we have the whole front room to ourselves, Bob.
We do.
We could break out in a dance, but we're not going to.
We could do that.
But this is Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. Once again, we'd like to thank Randy and Honey Smith for allowing us to come into their establishment here. And got great news from them as well. This coming Monday, they opened their third store.
Fort Walton?
Yeah, you know where it's at?
Corner of
you know where McDonald's is at on Beale?
Yeah, right across the
and
street
Martin
from
Luther King.
Yeah.
It's right on the corner across from Tom Thumb. And great location. A lot of traffic goes through there, so want to congratulate them on their third store. And but we also want to send our prayers to Randy, who's continuing to battle his fight with cancer. Went back in for chemo yesterday. Hurting pretty good from this round of chemo. So send all your prayers to Randy Smith. He's a former helicopter pilot, retired Air Force. He was in the Army prior to coming in the Air Force, and just a great guy. And we send all of our prayers to Randy and Honey, and hopefully that everything comes out in the long run for Randy. But gosh, I'm just excited to be here. It's football time, Bob.
Oh, it is. It's like I said on Facebook. It's game week for high school, at least for Navarre. Some games we'll preview in a little bit. High school games happen Saturday.
Yeah, we had some Saturday. We've had some
Monday. Right.
We had some Friday, and I think we even had one Thursday night.
Might have been, right, yeah.
Mosley got the thing started on Thursday night over in Panama City. That's a team to be looking out for this year. They got some T, and it's not the old Mosley team of past where that run that triple wing T option pass.
Right.
No, they're throwing the ball now, and they got a pretty solid quarterback and a lot of speedy receivers over there at Mosley, and looking for big things out of them this year as well. And I think they start out. They were supposed to start out their season against Niceville, but that's been nixed as all the schedules have been altered thanks to COVID-19. But we got some great things coming up this year. Of course, the Panhandle Power Rankings are back.
Right.
I've already last night I posted my power rankings. Some may like them, some may not. But I kind of go off of how they finished last year, and I couldn't. Well, we'll get to that down the road. We'll tell you who that is going to be in the top 7. We not only do the large schools, we don't do them together because that allows us to give the proper due to the small schools that have great programs as well. So we split it up: large schools, which goes from Class 5A to 8A. How that's going to look this year with some teams not playing. But every team's going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and extra revenue, extra excitement, and I mean considering what some of the other sports are going through. My girls swim, Alyssa and Anne-Marie both swim for Navarre High School, and their season is only 1 month.
I saw they had senior night already. Was that their first meet?
Yes, they had their first meet with Golf Breeze. Golf Breeze, had been using the Hunter Pool underneath the I-10 overpass because the bridge is out now. Instead of going the long way through your elbow, they reached out. Of course, the Hunter Pool, owned by the city, run by the YMCA. And they reached out to the YMCA here in Navarre, and so Golf Breeze is practicing in the evening at the Pullman YMCA here in Navarre. So Golf Breeze also had their senior night last night as well, and I certainly was blessed to along with my wife to walk our girl. They grow up too fast, Bill. I'm telling you.
Tell me about it. My oldest now 26, and my son's 22, off in his master's program at Florida A&M, and I for once I had no children at home.
Well, we did our test broadcast. We left your studio, and there was a child of yours laying on the floor watching the Notre Dame game. I can't remember who they were playing a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's the nice thing about him being in Tallahassee now. He's not very far from home.
Right.
So,
yeah.
but 2.5, 3 hours, and going over to Florida A&M. But I got a little story to tell you. You'll kind of get a kick out of this. I was on Twitter yesterday afternoon. Yeah, so Bill's on Twitter quite a lot, as my daughter tells me. I got a text from the GOAT.
Okay.
You know the GOAT. Everybody
Yeah.
knows the GOAT. He's Childs. And he goes, Bill, have you ever thought about doing a high school talk show? I was sitting there kind of chuckling to myself. He said, GOAT. I said, I've been doing that for the last 6 years. Oh, I never knew. Well, now you know, and you can find it here on IrishBillSports.com every Wednesday night. And this Fridays normally will be on the air at Navarre. As long as the weather permits, we will be up on the roof. And on the away games, we'll be at Niceville and Crestview this year, thanks to Coach Thompson and Coach Hatton for allowing us to come to their facilities this year in these very uncertain times.
Still working on the Gulf Breeze game.
Well, we can try. Never hurts for trying. So, but so I told him, and I said, "Yeah, I've been doing this for about 6 years, and Seminole Bob does the game with me, and we have a great old time." And I said, "Well, if Bob can't make it, he'll let me know, and I'll give you a holler, and you can come in and
Sure.
and be the Seminole Bob replacement unit."
Just like he was the Irish Bill replacement unit last year for the Crestview game.
The last game, that was the very first game that I have missed, and as far as I can remember. And but
Well,
priorities do.
Oh, absolutely. You hold the bar up high. As a dad, you made a promise and you kept your promise.
Yeah, very very proud of my son. And if you know Brady, he doesn't like to brag on himself very much, so I take care of that.
Wow. That's what proud parents. That's our job.
Yep. But unfortunately, a couple parts of our show that are not going to happen this year, because for one, they're not playing football in the Gulf South Conference and in the SIAC. So, but we will remind you who the national champion is in D2. That would be the University of West Florida, led by one of our locals here. What a great run they had, and Quentin Randolph. What a game he had in a championship game, and we're so proud of Quentin and what he's accomplished. But we got a lot of other Raiders that are playing elsewhere, and I'm sure with this team that we have coming up this year, we're going to have quite a few more that go on to play.
Right. Yep.
Once again. But before we move on any further, we can't do the show without sponsors, right?
We can't.
And I want to thank guys numerous times. These three keep coming back to me. Well, besides Culver's, we've already talked about them. But Ursula Householder, bless her soul, and Stacy Wright with the University Lending Group.
Right.
And my wife, Brenda Kay, coming back with the Express Professional Employment this year as well. And are still trying to reel in the Navarre Quarterback Club, but I know money is really tight this year. So, but we're still going to run their commercial without them being a sponsor. But want to thank all of them: University Lending Group, Ursula Householder, Express Professional Employment, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, and Culver's for allowing us to do our show. We're going to go ahead now. Speaking of commercials, and we're going to play a few, and we'll be right back. This Irish Bills Twist on Sports, Week 1. Here in 2020.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Whether they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, or making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com. Navarre Raider Sports is brought to you by Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate, your local real estate connection. With Ursula, you got a positive, helpful partner for buying or selling a home. Ursula can help with all of your real estate needs. Whether in the Florida Panhandle or around the world, her 16 years experience in real estate will work for you with innovative marketing strategies. Thinking about selling your home? Call Ursula for a free marketing analysis to see if you qualify for one of the incentive programs. Call or text 850-642-5711. Email ursula.householder@floridamoves.com or go to householderhomes.com. Go Raiders! Your fans are all behind you at the field or while you're watching at home.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Because I need to turn the sound on there, Bob. That always helps, doesn't it?
It does.
Welcome back to Irish Bill's Twist of Sports. Our first week here, up and running, as we are in. I think it's week 4, but it'll be week 1 for the Raiders.
Yep, absolutely. With the hurricane and other delays, again, we didn't know whether we were going to come to this moment or not. To be honest with you, but. We had some great football this past week, and what we know, and we're going to talk about week 3 scoreboard, and there were some very good games, some blowouts, but and some surprises, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's go over that scoreboard from last Friday. Well, let's say the whole weekend, basically.
Yeah.
Let's call it a 4-day weekend.
It seems like it, yeah.
Mosley got it started with the 31-28 win over Clearwater Academy. Vernon 40, Chipley 0. That was the score at halftime. And they converted on all 5 of their 2-point conversions in the first half. And we're up 40-0 at the half.
And then, yeah.
Hamilton County over Weewa 28-21. Holmes County over Graceville 40-18. Port St. Joe in a wild barn burner over South Walton, 50-49.
I think the game was in Port St. Joe, actually.
It was.
And South Walton, it was a back-and-forth game. South Walton went for 2 in the win.
You got to love it on the road.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, that's, exactly.
I mean, all teams are going to make the playoffs this year, so why not? Your record, you'd like to win every game, but let's be realistic. These kids early in the season are still learning their playbook.
Was that a revenge game? Didn't South Walton beat Port St. Joe last year?
I remember right, they did.
I think so, because it was looking like South Walton was going to head to an 0 for start last year, and they faced the Sharks, and so.
Always a talented bunch over there at Port St. Joe. Last year they were still hurting a little bit from Hurricane Michael. But this year, they're come loaded once again, and What a game, 50-49, Port St. Joe over South Walton. North Bay Haven gets their first win as they take out Northside at Methodist. Not really sure where that's at, 35-34.
It's on the north side of the Methodist, I guess.
There you go, Bob. Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
Getting started early this year.
Well,
Gadsden County over Mariana, 28-0. Taylor County 21, Chiefland 14. Wakulla 29, Thomas County 7. Madison County 32, Sewanee 14. Jay Wall's first coaching job
Yep.
at Sewanee.
Little Swanee.
Monroe Day off to a 3-0 start with a 35-0 win over St. Francis. FAMU 18, McClay 16, Florida High 57. PK, is it Young? Is
Young.
that how you pronounce it?
PK Young, yeah. Private
They're out of
school.
Gainesville,
Right.
57-0.
Wow.
Niceville 56, Choctaw 0.
Yeah, listen, part of that game, it was 42-0 at halftime, I believe, and they had the running clock out, and our Mr. I never can remember his name.
Artie Goodman?
Artie. We'll listen to Artie, but the player for Niceville that had, I think, a breakout game against us.
Dominic Onacarico?
I don't know why I can't remember Dominic's name.
Just call him Dom.
Dom had 3 touchdowns in the first half. What they do in goal line situations, they put him in the pistol or the shotgun, and he just kind of like Tim Tebow, just finds a hole and runs over people.
Sort of like what Navarre did with Josh Carter his
Right.
senior year. And then Dante Wright even filled that void at times as well. Dante looking forward to his sophomore year coming up. And our last couple of games, kind of an upset here. Fort Walton Beach 21, Crestview 14. I want to say nice first win for Coach Chip Petrie at Fort Walton Beach High School.
I that was a head scratcher there. Did the GOAT say anything about the game?
He said some stuff I can't repeat.
Okay.
But he said the talent level has kind of dropped a little bit.
Okay.
At Crestview, but they got Coach Hatton. They'll be back.
Oh yeah.
And then our last game of the night was Walton over Freeport, 42-28.
42-28 rivalry game there in Walton County. Big win for Walton.
Freeport Coach Sean Arntz, also the athletic director over Freeport. Then we're going to move on over to. Are we going to do picks already? You want to do picks?
Sure.
Let's go ahead and do picks.
All right.
It's actually going to get started tomorrow night. There's a Thursday night game. Gulf Breeze travels to Milton tomorrow night.
Okay.
They're going to get it out underway. Both teams, their first game of the season. You have the Dolphins coming off a less than par season last year. Same with Milton. But the Santa Rosa County foes get together. It's never know what's going to happen.
I'm going to go with the road team. I'm going to go with the Panthers on the road, defeating.
Actually, I got that reversed. That's actually in Milton.
I'm sorry?
That's in Milton.
Oh, it's at Milton.
Yeah,
okay.
it's at Milton.
So I'll take the home team, Milton.
You're going to take Milton? I'm going to go with Milton as well. Sorry, Dolphin fans. So Bob and I going both with the Panthers. And like I said, you can chat with us on YouTube tonight. Irish Bills Twist on Sports on YouTube. We have a live chat, so if you have any questions or you want to take our stab and let us know who you like in the games, just stop onto YouTube and fire us a message.
Let us know you're out there. Please,
Yeah.
please do.
Let's move on to our next game. Thursday night, Navarre travels to Pace for their first games of the season. I like a lot what the Raiders have done in the offseason.
Yes.
And they, even though they were battling the COVID, they continued to work out on their own. They went to a lot of camps around the state. A lot of recognition at camps this summer out of some of these young men. Bailey Houston, Grady Kelly, Elijah Melendez. You got quite a few of these. A.J. Arno had a big game against Crestview last year in the final
Right.
game. You got a lot of talent coming back in that offensive line, all seniors this year.
The Big Bubbas are exactly that this year.
And in fact, the first 8 on the offensive line are all seniors this year. Navarre, I can't remember this far back, But I think this is the biggest class of seniors that they've ever had with 39. It doubles what they had last year.
That's going to be a long senior night.
It is. And one of the young ladies on the quarterback club was wondering, where are we going to put all the banners?
Oh, I know. Wrap it around the stadium a couple times.
Yeah, but I look for big things out of the Raiders, and I'm going to take them big tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Friday night.
Friday night. I think the Raiders are going to come out and go with the running game and try to pound it out against Pace. Start the season on the road. Not what we thought it would be at Pace. We thought maybe we were going to Gulf Breeze. But anyway, I think look for the Raiders to perhaps win convincingly.
Speaking of that running game, Bob, I'm looking for big things out of this young man, Jaden Rivera. I got his first offer yesterday from Huntington College in Montgomery. Our kicker today got his first offer from a smaller school over in Orlando. I'm trying to remember, Valley State. It's a new school. I think it's an NAIA school over in Orlando. Mm-hmm. So Preston Penton got his first offer today as well. Grady Kelly is currently committed to Colorado State, but I had a nice little chat with his dad on Sunday over at Rob's at Stripes as we were watching the NFL football. There are a lot more offers to come for that young man.
Oh, I'm sure.
But the main thing he said is they just want to see him on the field, and so do we.
Yeah.
But a lot of big things coming out. I'm excited about this season. As many games as we can get out of it, we hope the Raiders go really deep into the season.
Now, I think the JVs or the freshmen play tomorrow?
Yeah, freshmen and JV play tomorrow night.
Okay, at home, I believe.
Because usually when they play opposite of where the varsity plays.
Right.
And what they're doing this season, I think they're going with 6 games this year, and they're playing each team from Santa Rosa twice.
Okay.
At home and away.
They're playing.
They're playing. Yep.
They got to get experience because next year, especially the offensive linemen, we're losing all the offensive linemen for next school year. You may have sophomores, a very young offensive line next year. So you need this to get the reps in preparation for next year.
But there was a new rule passed in the offseason that a lot of the coaches just love is the 6-quarter rule. What it is if you play the JV game on Thursday and how many ever quarters you play, you can turn around and play on Friday now too. So it gives coaches a lot of options to get his young players a lot of an experience going in. So I know Coach Walls loves the new rule, the 6-quarter rule.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next, we're going to move on to Crestview at Choctaw. Both teams kind of hurting from their Monday night game, and not much rest going into this game Friday night.
No.
Both teams 0-1. And I'm going to you can't leave the Bulldogs lying for very long. I'm going to go with Crestview.
Choctaw really struggled against that good Niceville defense, and they, just to get any positive yards, relatively new quarterback for Choctaw. I'm going with Crestview also.
Next, we flip on over to 2 undefeated teams. Mm-hmm. Fort Walton Beach, 1-0, is traveling over to Niceville and taking a very, very strong Coach Grant Thompson team.
I think Cinderella's slipper is not going to fit in game 2. I think Niceville could very well, but just like the Choctaw game, mercy rule, running clock, second half. Niceville is a really good team. I expect them and Navarre to really stand out on this side of Florida.
Grant Thompson 13-1 so far as the head coach at Niceville. I'm going to go with the Eagles as well. Next, we move over to Panama City for a battle of Panama City teams. Bay with their first game, even though they did play like a jamboree this past weekend with all the Panama City teams.
Good.
They're going on to face Mosley over at Tommy Oliver Stadium nice renovated Tommy Oliver Stadium. It's beautiful over there. I think I am going to go with the Dolphins.
Mosley as well. What I like about that stadium is they cater.
Oh, do they ever?
They cater snacks, wings.
They take care.
Chip and
They
dip.
take care of the visiting.
And there's a bathroom in the press box.
That there is.
Yeah.
That's what I like about doing games at Choctaw, other than walking up to 74 stairs to the top, is bathroom upstairs. And Pace now has one.
Choctaw has a bathroom now?
Yes, they do.
Oh, my goodness.
They do. And on our side, it's rather nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both going with Mosley in that
Yep.
one. Now we're going to move over to Arnold, or South Walton will be playing their fourth game, and Arnold will be playing their first.
Wow. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
You're going to go with Phil Tiza and the Seahawks? I haven't seen much on Arnold. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well. And our player of the week comes from our offensive player of the week comes from South Walton.
Yeah, they run the fun and gun there now, and they really throw the ball around.
Yeah, they got a transfer quarterback in from Atlanta. Yeah, I believe he's only a junior.
Right.
And they got a tight end that's 6'6". He's only a sophomore. Being looked at by West Virginia. And then they got a receiver that had a big night. Or actually, a big afternoon because they played out on Saturday afternoon. Next game is going to be, I think, one of the better games in the Panhandle this weekend. Florida High, great season last year. They make it to the state championship. Both these teams made it to the state championship game. And Florida High 1-0 at Madison County 3-0.
Well, Florida High doesn't have their quarterback, young Mr. Taggart.
Now, he's over at Florida Atlantic now.
With his dad, yes. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
But they got a 4-star athlete over there, Amari Harvey, that's committed to Auburn.
Really?
Great return guy, great defensive back.
How does he get out? How did he get out of Florida? I mean, that's amazing.
Well,
Miami, the Gators, the Seminoles, South. How do these athletes get out of Florida?
I have no idea, but that young man is very talented. Amari Harvey, you'll be hearing big things out of him, out of Auburn in the future. It's tough to play at Boot Hill in Madison County, but I'm going with the Seminoles in the upset.
Uh-oh. I'm going with the Cowboys with the K, I do believe.
No, they are with the C.
Are they really?
The Cowboys with the K is Osceola.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I knew that. Sorry.
Say, Bill, how do you know that? That's just
useless trivia.
Yeah. My wife says I got too much of it. Next, we go over to Crawfordville, always a tough place to play. Gadsden County 1-0 going to Wakulla, face off with the War Eagles.
War Eagles for the win. I think Wakulla. They have a system there, I think.
They have a senior quarterback who transferred. He's playing at Arkansas this year, Felipe Franks.
Right. Felipe played at
Florida for a couple of
did.
years. Mm-hmm. And next we go back to Panama City. Port St. Joe is 2-1 on the season with that big win over South Walton. And they're going to head over to Rutherford. His numbers are way down. I like Port St. Joe in this one.
I do too. Explosive offense.
Next, we're going to go over to Niceville once again as Freeport will travel down, was that 20? Over to Niceville and take on Rocky Bayou. Now I'm going to go with the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, Freeport.
1-1 on the season. Next, we head over to Baker and Coach Brunson. What a program he has over there.
Just year in and year out. It's fabulous. It's a system. I keep thinking of Coach Saban and the system, and that's what he has at Baker with the Baker boys.
Yeah,
And,
isn't it great to always be able to go back to your alma mater to coach high school football? and that's what he's done. He was at Crestview for quite a few years. He said, you know what, I'm ready to move on, and went back to Baker, and he's been doing great things there. Baker hosting Cottondale. Cottondale. Baker all over this one.
That could get ugly early.
Next, we have Walton 1-1 at Mariana 1-2. This is always usually a pretty good, even contest. The Braves with the win over Freeport this last Monday evening. Mariana got shut out at home last week, and I am going to go with Walton and the Braves here.
Which Mariana team's going to show up is my question.
The one that beat Bluntstown 14-13, or the one that showed up and got beat 28-0 last week?
I'm going to go with Mariana.
Bob going with the home team there. This next game we were going to call Bluntstown at Chipley. I think they're still playing this week. Coach Bo, head coach over there. I'm going to go with Bluntstown. I'm not sure if the game's going to be played or not. I'm going to go with Bluntstown in this one.
I am too. When was the last time they started 0-1? That'd be a great trivia question.
Next we have Graceville 0-2. I believe are the Tigers of Graceville going on over to Bozeman to play the Bucks. And,
going with the Bucks.
I'm going with the Bucks as well. Next we have Vernon. I can't wait to watch this team. If I get a chance to watch this team play this year. What a great young man over there at running back. And they are just so talented over there. K1 Powell.
Yeah.
Young man, he committed to South Florida. He's going to be getting some more offers. I don't know if that will stay, especially after the performance that USF showed last week against Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But Vernon 2-0 at Jefferson County. I think this is the game that's canceled, not the previous one. We're going to go ahead and pick it anyway. So I'm going with Vernon, and I know you
all
are
the way.
as well.
They're the Yellow Jackets.
The Jackets of Vernon High. You ever get a chance? I never knew where it was at.
Right. You've heard it because it's on the interstate signs.
Right. You can see it. I believe it's exit. I forget where it's at. I wrote a story. It's
18 or 19.
IrishBillSports.com. I wrote a story on my trip over there last year. I think it's like 102 or 96 or something like 104. It's in that area. Well, you take a right, go down about 12 miles, go into town, quaint little town, and then you turn right, go down to the stadium, and right there it is. And it's a great atmosphere at Vernon High.
It's the heart of the city, I'm sure, or the heart of the town.
And Holmes County going over to Northview. Northview with their first game. Holmes County, this will be their fourth game already. Northview very young this year, but it's always tough to play up there in Bratt.
Bratt, Florida, going with the Chiefs.
I'm going with Northview as well. New coach, Wes Summerford, is up there. Replaced Derek Marshman, a good friend of mine. Next we have Sneads, 2-0, going to Franklin County, 1-1. Sneads has not allowed a point yet.
Yeah, that's another team over there in the Tallahassee area that is very strong, well coached. Look for Sneads to win on the road.
The Pirates against the Seahawks. I believe there's the Seahawks as well, Franklin County. Now this is a total mismatch. Flomaton State 8, I think small classification champs in the state of Alabama last year. 5-0, getting ready to play their sixth game where Jay's looking for their first. Kind of a mismatch here. I'm going to go with Flomaton in this one.
Yep. Rivalry game of sorts.
Just not too far apart from each other.
Across the railroad tracks and over the bridge.
Next, we got Weewa hosting Valiant Cross out of Alabama. Weewa 2-1. Coach Bobby Johns leading the program over there. And I'm looking for the Gators to come out on top. I know you don't like rooting for Gators.
Weewa. Okay,
and then we finished up with Friday night. Then we got 3 Saturday games. FAMU 1-0 at Taylor County 1-1, led by Southmore sensation quarterback at Taylor County. And he had a great freshman year. And trying to remember his – I know this name it's right on the tip of my tongue. Kivas is his first name. Great young arm. Going to be big things out of him. I'm going with Taylor County in this one.
I'm going to go with FAMU and a surprise.
Saturday we head to Pensacola and Escambia County for first games being played there. Tate at Washington in the first game at 1 o'clock. Washington coming off a great year where they made the playoffs last year. And I'm going to go with Washington at home.
Me as well.
West Florida Tech traveling over to Escambia High School. Escambia is loaded this year. I don't look for this game to be close at all.
No.
There's a lot to replace at Escambia, but they replaced him. Then we're going to finish up with Pine Forest at Catholic, which should be one heck of a game. 7 o'clock Saturday night.
Boy, that's a tough one.
Pine Forest with new quarterback. He transferred from Tate High School last year.
Okay.
He is Pensacola Terry's nephew that calls into our show.
That's right. I'm going to go with Pine Forest. But it could be a very good game. Very close game.
I am going to go with the Crusaders at home.
All right, you're going with the Catholics.
We got to let you know how last year finished up. Do we?
Sure.
Well, we were actually pretty close. I finished at 75.7%, and then Bob finished at 74.2%. So
you got me by 2 percentage points.
We both had a great season.
Well, you did have a head start. This year we're starting.
I haven't picked a game until tonight.
Okay.
So, well, there's our high school picks. We're going to come back. We're going to do Irish Bill Super 7 Panhandle Power Rankings. Large and small schools and our players, offensive and defensive player of the week. Not a whole lot to choose from, but there was some great performances last week here in the Panhandle of Florida. This Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. I'm Irish Bill with
Seminole Bob.
And we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Craig Culver of Culver's.
Before farm to table, before field to fork, there was just good, wholesome food. Grown by America's farm families, prepared fresh at Culver's, and always served with a smile. We still cook every Butterburger to order using fresh 100% Midwest beef and craft our frozen custard right in the restaurant using family farm fresh dairy. So thank you, farmers. Welcome to Delicious.
University Lending Group, located in Harvest Village, is Navarre's local mortgage lender. If buying, selling, or building a dream home is in your future, you need to contact University Lending Group. Jennifer Gomes and Stacy Wright are the loan specialists who have the experience to take you step by step to make your buying, building, or selling experience smooth. See University at 752 Navarre Parkway, Suite 56, or call 850-396-0322.
Great teams have great support. The Navarre Raiders have one of the best support organizations, the Navarre Raider Quarterback Club. All the members see to it that the Raiders have all available necessities to keep the Raiders on track. Well, they're seeing to it that they are properly fed, have good transportation, are making sure that all Raider fans can hear all the exciting Navarre Raider football action. The Navarre Raider Quarterback Club is there to make it happen. Thanks, Navarre Raider Quarterback Club, for your support of your winning Navarre Raiders on IrishBillSports.com. Navarre Raider Sports is brought to you by Ursula Householder of Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate, your local real estate connection. With Ursula, you got a positive, helpful partner for buying or selling a home. Ursula can help with all of your real estate needs. Whether in the Florida Panhandle or around the world, her 16 years experience in real estate will work for you with innovative marketing strategies. Thinking about selling your home? Call Ursula for a free marketing analysis to see if you qualify for one of the incentive programs. Call or text 850-642-5711. Email ursula.householder@floridamoves.com or go to householderhomes.com. Go Raiders! Your fans are all behind you at the field or while you're watching at home.
A strong work ethic takes pride in a job well done. This is the kind of person you need. Express Employment Professionals can help because we understand what it takes to hire the right person. It takes real people, real interviews. We find good people, matching the right skills with the right jobs from the production floor to the front office. Express knows jobs. Get to know Express. Go to expresspros.com to find a location near you.
Turn on the sound, Bill.
It's week one for us, too.
That's a rookie mistake, isn't it?
It's all right.
Welcome back to week one of Irish Bill's Twist on Sports. I'm Irish Bill with Seminole Bob. We're going to move on to our Panhandle Power Rankings. But we've got our producer checking in, and she says we're sounding good and looking good.
She's got to be talking about you because I know she ain't talking about me. I just sat in traffic in Highway 98. There wasn't a wreck in sight. I just have no idea. It was backed all the way up to Olive Garden.
Well, these days, especially after that, after the hurricane went through, traffic has been rather heavy, especially over in the Gulf Breeze area, going up to I-10 on the Garcon Point Bridge, and I-87's been a little bit more busy as well. And but we want to thank our power companies that have come in from out of state. People, if they're looking for a place to stay, don't charge them an arm and a leg. They're here to help us get our feet back on the ground. The least you can do is provide them room and board at a good price, and don't try to price gouge them.
Yeah, I've got some inside info. My sister-in-law, just there you go. Got us on the big
great
screen.
Picture. I like the way this YouTube's going so far.
It does. Was a safety director of safety for Gulf Power, and they have a standing policy at Gulf Power not to stay in hotels. Now that's what she said, but I've got a feel-good story about this.
I need one.
The swim meet was at the Pullum YMCA, just down the road here in Navarre, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they housed 350 linemen in cots inside the gymnasium. They said they had them in between Stairmasters and weight machines, 350.
That's awesome.
For 3 days. And you know, I saw pictures, talked to Bill, the branch director, and so I just think that's awesome places. It's kind of humorous and not humorous. One of the other policies of Gulf Power is that wherever the guys stay, they have armed security guys watching over their trucks and whatever the building, because you can imagine.
Well, most definitely. But thank you for leaving your families at home and coming down here to help our families and our little piece of the world that we call home here in Navarre and Pensacola, and then South Alabama took a big hit as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
From all of us here in the Panhandle of Florida. But let's get back to sports, and it's time for Irish Bill Super 7 Panhandle Power Rankings for the large schools. You know, some may like it, some may not, but it's hard to argue with the way that I got it set up going in here into week 4 of the season, but week 1 for a lot of teams. Sitting at number 1 is Escambia High School. state runner-ups in Class 6A. They took quite a beating from Miami Central, but who hasn't?
Who didn't, yeah.
And Niceville makes it to the regional finals last year, bows out against a very strong Edgewater team. They're my number 2. Navarre comes in at number 3. Pine Forest 4. Washington 5. Mosley opens up at number 6. And sneaking in at number 7 is the Fort Walton Beach Vikings.
Great win. Probably one of the biggest wins in recent times. You and I don't know the inside circumstances, what's going on at Crestview, but I'm sure some people around the state were scratching their head, saying, the last several years, Fort Walton struggling just to get to 500 and be competitive. But so
on over to the small schools.
I think it was a good choice.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Irish Bill Super 7 Panhandle Pro rankings for the small schools, which is Class 1A through 4A. Mm-hmm. I got Baker sitting at top at 2-0. Vernon right behind him at number 2 at 2-0. Catholic coming in, hasn't played a game yet, so they're going to have to earn their keep to work their way up the board. They're at number 3. Sneed's at number 4. Port St. Joe at number 5. Walton with their big win over Freeport Monday night, and Freeport comes in at number 7.
I like that too. It's hard to rate a team that's 0-0. You just have to go by what they had last year, kind of that. But you see another showdown down the road with Vernon and Baker.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our Player of the Week. Offensive player first hails from South Walton High School. Kemper Hodges, quarterback, transferred in from Atlanta. Kemper Hodges. Completed 33 of 59 passes on Saturday for 495 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he also rushed for 2 touchdowns. So he had 6 of their 7 touchdowns on the game. So our offensive player of the game, Kemper Hodges from South Walton.
Pretty good selection.
Our defensive player hails from North Bay Haven. He had quite a night, too. Brody, I'm probably going to mess up his last name. Cassipel. That's what I'm going to go with until I hear different.
Okay.
He recorded 16 tackles and a sack in a 35-34 win over Northside Methodist. So congratulations goes out to Kemper Hodges from South Walton and Brody Cassipel from North Bay Haven, your players of the week.
Yeah, and other players. Well, you're going to go over him in a minute. Carrico had a great game, too.
Oh, I know. And, he had 3 touchdowns. Port St. Joe's quarterback, Colin Amison, in that game against South Walton, he had 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mosley's Liam Bird. I've heard great things out of that young man. 223 yards and 2 touchdowns in their win. Marcus Hammack at quarterback for Vernon. They actually go back and forth between him and Divion Bush. He had 203 yards and 4 scores. Niceville's Trey Wainwright had a solid first game, 11 of 14, 126 yards and a score. And Weewall's Alex Williams, he had 25 carries for 160 yards and a score, and 6 of 11 for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's our quarterbacks. Pretty good list there, huh?
Well, I don't know. We really don't know how good of a thrower Wainwright was, because when you're winning 42-0, and that was probably only in a half.
That was the first half.
Yeah. So, and he can run the ball. He got some big first downs with his legs. So, that game at Niceville is we got our hands full coming up down the road.
And we had this was a very close second. Might have even been 1B. And my the way I was looking at it, South Walton's Cade Roberts, 16 receptions, 234 yards, and a touchdown. Their tight end, Pierce Sperlin, had 9 receptions for 127 yards and a score. Port St. Joe's Nick Jefferson had 4 receptions for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Vernon Divion Bush 3 receptions for 80 yards and a score. There's your wide receivers and tight end. Over at our running backs, nice games. We had 400-yard carriers, led by North Bay Haven's Nathan Webb, 33 carries, 240 yards, and 3 scores. Freeport's Trey Hinckley with 143 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Niceville's Micah Turner, 8 carries for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Port St. Joe's Aiden Gaynor, 10 carries for 109 yards and 2 scores. And Niceville's, I love saying this name. Once I figured out how to say it. Dominic Anacarico, 3 rushing touchdowns, and mainly out of the Wildcat. And
they got quite a backfield with Wainwright, their running back Turner, and Carrico.
McNulty, first play from scrimmage, goes 80 yards. They got quite a talented roster over there in Niceville once again. Let's move over to the defense. Not a whole lot of stats. I couldn't get many stats. North Bay Haven's Keegan Schubert, 11 tackles. Special teams, Mosley's Nigel Gray, and he had an 80-yard kickoff return for a score, and he also had an 85-yard punt return. And our kicking, Niceville's Charles LeBreed, also known as Charlie. He was 8 for 8 on extra points. North Bay Haven's Cole Haddock was 4 for 4 on extra points. So congratulations goes out to Kemper Hodges and Brody Cassapole, as they are our offensive and defensive players of the week.
Yeah,
you like that list?
Good picks. And we didn't even mention the running back from Vernon.
No. All the starters played the first half, and they basically sat the whole starting lineup the second half. Mm-hmm. And it's nice when you can build especially earlier in the season, when you can get a lot of playing time for your kids.
Yep.
They're not kids; they're young men. But
especially with the new rule too.
You can catch all the information from that on my website, irishbillsports.com. Also on Facebook. You can go out to my group page, Irish Bills Twist on Sports. Now let's skip over to college. Time for some college picks. I know some of these games are not going to happen, like the second one we're going to talk about. Not going to happen. First, we got a Thursday night game, UAB. They played. I thought they played Miami very well in the first half down there in Coral. Was it Coral? Miami Gardens? Mm-hmm. Miami Gardens. Mm-hmm. South Alabama 1-1 as they beat Southern Mississippi in their first game. UAB, a very well-coached team by Bill Clark, going on the road to South Alabama. Beautiful new stadium over there.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Blazers on the road.
Going to go with the Blazers, huh? I'm going to go with South Alabama at home and a surprise.
Next, we move to Saturday. We got to mark this one off as this game's been postponed. Notre Dame at Wake Forest due to 7 Notre Dame players testing positive for that nasty virus. So no Notre Dame game. But the nice thing that the ACC did this year was had open weeks where they can move the games down the road.
For that very reason.
Most definitely. And now the SEC gets started this weekend. All hail, all rise. The SEC is here.
Oh, this is Pac-12 Dave or Pac-12 Bulldogs team now.
Actually, no. He went another direction. He actually went with Texas A&M.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
It's Gig'em Dave
This
now.
is his former coach.
Yes.
Gets to start out with
Mike Leach, his first SEC game as he travels to Death Valley to take on LSU.
Did you watch the 60 Minutes? 60 Minutes had a thing on how LSU football handled the COVID, and they really spotlighted and highlighted and talked about Coach O. And I enjoyed it.
I like Coach O a lot.
And his mama was on TV too, and she looked just like Coach O.
And he is a very in shape guy, and he's a big guy, barrel chested. He was over in Destin a few weeks before the season started. He was out running. I don't know if he's just getting away for the weekend or something, but he's a big guy. You just gotta love that voice.
He looks like he has a mouthful of marbles, but no. And they had a lot of doubt. They talked about it. They had a lot of doubts about him. He was fairly successful at USC, but the Ole Miss thing didn't work out. And they did show him lifting weights and running. They didn't say anything about 2017, 2018. It was reported that he was doing about 6 or 7 Red Bulls a day.
That's a lot.
And I think he's had to have stopped that.
I hope so, because you know what, I could drink about half of a Knott's if I need an energy drink, but after that it's like I just can't stomach anymore, and it just you get that big sugar rush, and it's like at our age we can't handle that anymore.
We can't. No.
But we got Mississippi State at LSU.
Going with LSU. But it could be an interesting game.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a close game.
I will.
Number 2, Alabama at Missouri. Alabama all over in that one.
Alabama.
The question there is, are we going to see Bryce Young,
Who?
the freshman quarterback?
Oh, I'm sure.
At Alabama.
I'm sure.
Number 13,
And
UC.
what is their chant again?
I can't say that. You almost got me. You almost got me. I vow to never say that ever again. Our young man, our young Tim Keene, that helps us out with our camera at home sometimes, he always tries to get me to say that because he's a big Bama fan. But UCF, number 13, at East Carolina to take on the Pirates. UCF looked pretty solid last week.
They did on TV the other day, going with UCF on the road.
Gabriel could be the best quarterback in the
In the
actually,
state of
he said this may be the best team in the state of Florida.
Could
I
be.
think the Gators have something to say about that.
Yeah. Trask is not bad. The King at Miami is not bad either.
Georgia Southern 1-0 at number 19. U of L, Louisiana, and the Raging Cajuns 2-0 as they pull one out this last week against Georgia State. And that they went on the road and knocked off Iowa State. And
Georgia Southern still run that the single wing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Not positive.
I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna go with Georgia Southern.
I'm going with the Raging Cajuns. You got to talk like that when you say Raging Cajuns. Next, we got number 23, Kentucky. I look for big things out of Kentucky this year.
Yeah.
And they're going to Auburn. Auburn decimated on the offensive line. Our own Nick Brahms is the only returning starter on that offensive line. He'll be the starting center this year. He's a redshirt junior. Still has one more year eligibility. Actually, everybody has a year of eligibility after this year. With the COVID
I think it's going to be a
going.
very close game. I'll go with the Tigers at home.
I'm going with the Tigers. It's hard to root against Auburn at home, but the thing about Auburn is the fans. That's a place you do not want to go on a Saturday afternoon with a full house.
Good point.
But one thing is those fans aren't going to be there.
Because of the COVID restrictions.
Because of the restrictions.
Not in the beginning, anyway. In the beginning of the year,
hopefully by the end of the year,
they'll relax some of those rules. But I mean, that's a great point.
But I'm still going with Auburn.
Yeah.
Do the old Lee coach on. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, I thought you were going
Number
there.
5, Florida at Ole Miss. It's another interesting game.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin in his first game at the helm. A solid quarterback over there. And
man, my head says one thing, my heart says another. I
know you're not a big Gator fan.
No, I'm not. We don't use.
I'm going with Gators.
Yeah, I am too. Trask. I think Trask is.
John Rice Plumlee is a quarterback at Ole Miss. Had a great game last year against LSU. They still lost.
Could be close in the first half. Would it surprise me if the Gators lost? No.
Not at all.
It just, we all know this job. I think Lane Kiffin has a lot to prove. This could be a stepping stone job to something else. Could be Alabama in the future. It could be maybe Clemson if Sweeney goes to Alabama. Could be, who knows?
Or he goes in there and does a great job and stays. He's in the SEC now.
Yeah.
He's back where he wanted to be.
Right. He gets to play. He gets to play his former boss.
I mean, what a great job he did down there at FAU. I mean, he put them on the map.
He did.
They had a great program. A couple of Raiders have played there over the years. Jay Warren played down there. Jeff Van Camp from back in the early 2000s.
I remember Jeff.
Jeff went and played at Florida Atlantic. Colton Kane from the 2010 team, went down there for a year before transferring over to Mississippi Gulf Coast. He played in that junior college. What a great junior college system over there in Mississippi. 15 programs, some great football, great players.
Powerful, powerhouse.
But he
in
finished
junior
up there.
college.
So we had a few Raiders go to Florida Atlantic, and now coached by Willie Taggart, which are glad that he's not up in Tallahassee anymore.
We'll see.
Kansas State 0-1 at number 3 Oklahoma. The sooner you take the Sooners, the better.
The sooner, the better. Going with the Sooners.
Next we have number 24 Louisville at. People say it's Louisville, Bill. No, it's Louisville. If you're from the Midwest and you're from that part of the country, you know how to pronounce it. As people say, well, what's the capital of Kentucky? Is it Louisville? No, it's Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yeah, right.
It was nice having Brooke home last week.
Yeah.
She stayed with us last week with the Storm, and we went through the old state and capitals thing that you usually do in the car.
Gosh.
I'm going with Pittsburgh at home to go 3-0. You going to go with the Cardinals or the Panthers?
I'll go with Pitt. Unfortunately, they're having some problems. Some other cities in the United States are having. They had some peaceful protests today that didn't turn out to be very peaceful in Louisville. So maybe it's a good thing that the players get out of Dodge and head north for the football game. But anyway, I'll take the Panthers. Very impressive. Off to 3-0 start. That's
next. We have the Camels of Campbell at App State, and they don't lose at home. App State in this one. Next, we have number 6 Texas going on to face the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, and led by a redshirt senior, Tommy Leggett.
That's right. Guns up. Texas looked good in their opening game. I'm going to go with the Longhorns on the road. Could be close early.
I'm going with the Longhorns as well. West Virginia 1-0, led by one Jordan Jefferson, also a Navarre Raider.
Yep.
At number 15 Oklahoma State, who didn't look very good last week against Tulsa.
I was impressed with West Virginia. This could be a shootout. I'm going to go with West Virginia on the road.
I am going with West Virginia as well.
Hard to root against a Navarre Raider.
And I like what you got the young coach there that transferred up from Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Look for big things out of him up there in West Virginia. Next, Army looking good here early on.
They are.
And they're going to face a tough game at number 14 Cincinnati. The Bearcats, the only team playing in Ohio right now.
That's true. For a month or so. I'm going to go with Army in an upset.
You're going with Army. I am going with the Bearcats at home. Led by Luke Fickell, former Ohio State assistant coach. Number 4, Georgia, heading on up to Arkansas. And I look for the Bulldogs big in this one.
Felipe Franks, huh?
Yep. But the question is what quarterback are we going to see for Georgia? Are we going to see JT Daniels, or are we going to see Dwan Mathis?
Or we see both of them.
Or are we going to see a Carson Beck out of Mandarin High School in Jacksonville? Mm-hmm. Or are we going to see Stetson Bennett? They have 4 quarterbacks that they can choose from to play in that game. Might see all of them.
Did the kid from Southern Cal get eligible?
That's they're waiting to hear. It's down. He's eligible to play, but whether he has been totally cleared from his injury or not is what we're waiting for. But I think Georgia Dog last week on the show said that he is pretty much healthy now.
Okay.
So I'm going with. We're both going with Georgia
Bulldogs,
there.
Yeah.
Number 16 is Tennessee at South Carolina, South Kakalaka, or whatever you want to call them.
The Gamecocks and Coach.
In his last year, I believe.
I think so, too.
I'm going with Tennessee in this one.
I can't even think of his name. Starts with an M.
The old Florida coach.
Yeah.
Muschamp.
Muschamp.
Next, we have your Florida State Seminoles heading on down to Miami Gardens to take on number 12 Miami, who's looking really good right now.
Yeah, very impressive. King, transfer quarterback from Houston. Florida State will be without Coach Norvell, who has COVID.
Yeah. Cannot coach, cannot make any contact with the team during the game.
No. I was surprised that Higgins was not named the interim coach. I'm sorry, Seminole fans. I'm not sure Blackman's the answer at quarterback. We had a little spark when we brought in the backup quarterback. Of course, our backup quarterback, freshman, broke his collarbone in spring practice. So
Purdy, the younger brother of the Iowa State quarterback.
Sure. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. Sorry. I mean, it might be the first time I've ever done that. But when I watched that Miami game, holy smokes,
There's a
speed.
first. When was the last time Bob picked Florida and Miami in the same week and not his
Never.
Seminoles? Never.
Never.
Both going with Florida here. Next up, Vanderbilt at number 10, Texas A&M. Not even close.
Nope.
As new, I can't believe he's changed his teams. I know his team isn't playing, but you know what? I can't root for anybody else really besides other than when my son was playing, rooting for my Irish.
Well, I could understand if Pac-12 Dave was choosing, the team his former coach is coaching, Mississippi State. But anyway, I think the Aggies are gonna win this one going away.
I agree.
Texas A&M don't play anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that would be a great matchup this year.
Next, we got NC State going to Virginia Tech, playing their first game. Nice game by the Wolfpack, getting an opening win there. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech at home. That's a tough place to play. You're debating with yourself
Not
right now.
so fast, my friend.
Going with the Wolfpack?
I am.
Okay, Bob going with the Wolfpack. And our last game is Troy. Got to get Troy in there.
Yeah.
They're traveling all the way across the country to Provo, Utah to face BYU. And BYU looked impressive in their first win over Navy. And Navy wasn't quite prepared for that game.
No, it's hard to rate by BYU on this one. I think it'll be a very close game, maybe a field goal game. I'll go with BYU.
And we were, overall record last year, we were even closer with our college picks, as I was 78.6% and Bob was at 78. So 0.6 apart. But now we're going to be square from week one.
Right. Just like in the, Barry Bonds, the all-time home run leader, there's an asterisk. There'd be an asterisk next to that statistic because you did have a 2-week jump on me.
I did.
But I could have bombed like I finished the year, so there's two ways to look at it.
I forgot to print out my last segment here, but I'm going to pull it up here. Navarre Raiders, where are they now? A lot of them not playing right now because of COVID.
And that's a shame. I in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, will any of them, not only Navarre Raiders, but any of them in these conferences transfer or want to transfer?
Well, first, we'll tell you who is not playing. Well, Jordan Leggett is in his fourth year in the NFL, still looking for a team.
The way injuries are going in NFL,
stay ready.
Yeah.
He's going to be a new parent this year, too. They're expecting their first child. Maryville linebacker Bo Herring will be a senior. I believe they're going to play in the spring. I believe so. Then you have Huntington College, Navarre North.
Yeah, really.
You have defensive lineman Mark Struck. He'll be a senior this year for Huntingdon. Daryl Hickson will be a junior. He's an offensive lineman. Garrett Schluter will be a junior. He's a long snapper. Kyle Hickman will be a junior as well. He's one of their kickers. And Tyler England. I'm looking for big things out of Tyler there at Huntingdon. Colorado State wide receiver Dante Wright. Charleston Southern wide receiver Quinn Caballero. University of Louisiana. This is a change because last year he was at Harding redshirted, but he transferred and he's walking on at the University of Louisiana. James Segrest, long snapper. He's back home. He's not eligible to play this year. And then Harding defensive lineman Mitchell Hunt. Those are the ones who will not be playing here in the fall.
Have any of those committed to spring football that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not sure about D2 and D3 and NAIA, but I know one NAIA player, one of our former players, Lamarcus Smith. He plays for Ave Maria University. They're 1-1 on the season as they won last weekend 42-6 over Florida Memorial, a new D2 program down in South Florida. Tommy Leggett had a good first game as they beat Houston Baptist 35-33 in their first week. Tommy had 7 tackles. Next up for them, as we already said, they'll be playing Texas this weekend. North Carolina running back Michael Carter. Hard to believe he's going to be a senior this year.
Wow.
7 carries, 78 yards, 6 receptions, 60 yards, 2 kickoff returns. So you had 168 total yards, all-purpose yards. They're not playing this weekend. They'll be on the road next weekend at Boston College. Nick Brahms playing for Auburn. They'll be hosting Kentucky this weekend. West Virginia defensive lineman Jordan Jefferson. He'll be a sophomore. They're 1-0 as they beat up on Eastern Kentucky 56-10 their first game. Next up for them, they'll be at Oklahoma State at 3:30 kickoff on Saturday. And then Josh Carter, a sophomore at South Alabama, linebacker there. He did not play in a 27-24 loss to Tulane. Next up, a game tomorrow night I'll probably be watching, unless I head up to Milton and watch the Gulf Breeze game. But it's hard to say because there's limited seating
Right.
at the stadium, so you may get up there and not have a ticket. So I will probably just stay at home. Or what I might do is I might run on down to the Bennett C. Russell Stadium, watch the freshmen and JV play
Tomorrow
night.
Tomorrow night.
So there's all of our former Raiders where they are now. You can also go to my homepage on irishbillsports.com and my segment section, Where Are They Now? Shows you where they're currently at and what year they're in. And
where did Marlon end up at? Our quarterback from last year.
That is a good question.
I know you're good friends with his dad.
I think he ended up going to school at South Alabama. But he's not playing this year.
Okay.
Kobe Johnson also over there. I think Kobe's trying to walk on over there.
Okay.
Former Navarre Raider. Both going over there to South Alabama.
Well, there's a former Raider you mentioned earlier, who's now at Florida A&M.
Oh yeah, not playing anymore. But I want to talk a little bit about Brady Hamill. Him and another former Raider are rooming together this year over in Tallahassee. Octavian Moore. They have both started their master's programs.
Super.
Octi got married this summer, so the three of them are living in student housing over in at Florida A&M. Brady getting his master's in sports management. Octavian getting his master's in occupational therapy.
Okay.
And his wife is going to be getting hers. She was not selected for this semester. She'll be getting hers in physical therapy.
Okay.
So they're rooming together, having a good old time in Tallahassee.
Good.
And looking for big things. Octi has one more year eligibility now because of COVID-19.
Baseball.
So he'll be playing baseball. He was kind of looking forward to moving on and just going straight school. But he's going to give it one more year, and he's got a year of eligibility left. And looking for big things. He had a great junior season over at FAMU. They made the playoffs. Great year for them. And they're having a great old time. And it's funny how it kind of comes full circle where the best friends growing up.
The way the NFL is, you never know when. Who knows? The phone may ring.
And Brady continuing to train, hoping for an opportunity if it ever comes knocking. But he's going to try to get on as grad assistant over at Florida A&M.
Okay, good.
Get into coaching, and eventually wants to be an athletic director.
Okay.
So
Make his mom and dad proud.
Oh, he already has. I mean, gosh, very happy with the way that he's grown over the last 4+ years and going off on his own. First time he'd ever been away from home, and very proud of that young man.
Just the look on your face when we came out of the studio, and there's this bearded wonder laying on the pillow on the floor, watching football.
Notre Dame.
Making comments about, the punter and the kicker, and
he's very critical.
That's good. I mean,
he's
got the coaches coaching.
But he learned a lot over his last 4 years playing for different coaches, and he knows what to do, what not to do now, and how to treat and handle situations. And hopefully he gets out and gets. I know he's going to do what he wants to do
and it seems like he had I don't want to say a good time. Not like he frolicked and had a party, but I think he grew and matured while he was at Miles. I think Miles seemed to be good for him.
Most definitely, and his conference championship ring is in the mail.
Okay,
and his first one was pretty big.
Right.
This one kind of dwarfs the first one. So,
okay.
But he says, "Dad, it's going to the house. Don't you open it. It's mine." I said, "I respect that." I said, "You earned it. Your team earned it, and we're not. It'll be sitting here waiting for you whenever you come home."
Right. Good.
So,
good for him.
But
proud of Brady.
Normally, this would be the spot where we talk about Gulf South Conference and SIAC, but unfortunately, we can't because they're not playing. But we would like to congratulate UWF once again on their national championship in their 4th year. What a great job Coach Pete Shinnick has done over there. 2nd year, they go to the championship game, runner-up. This year, they go on and they bring home.
Look who they beat. Number 1, Valdosta. A team you saw in person, Lenore Ryan.
Excellent team. Had to go play up in the snow in Michigan at Ferris State.
Ferris State, yeah.
And then the championship game played down in Texas. And what a great game by Austin Reed, the former quarterback from St. Augustine, who we got to see play Navarre India playoffs a couple years in a row. He guided them, and Quentin, huge game.
Oh, when you got Quentin Randolph.
10 receptions, 254 yards, I think he ended up with, and 2 touchdowns. What a great game, and a 48-40 win over Minnesota State. But they beat all higher-seeded teams in their route, and all on the road. That's tough to go to places, and especially teams of this Valdosta State. They scored on the last play of the game,
right,
or close to the last play of the game. Then they go to Lenore and Ryan in Hickory, North Carolina. It's a long haul from here. It's about a 10-hour drive.
You were there.
We were there. It rained, and it was about 40 degrees, and it was a cold, wet day. And but they went on and they beat, 5 teams to win it all. And hats go off to them, and hats go off to Miles College, their 2nd consecutive SIAC championship, made the playoffs.
Right.
They finished the season 9-3. What a way to go out for Brady and the Miles College Golden Bears. We're going to go to games. Wife and I have already designated we're going to go to at least 1 or 2 Miles games.
Okay.
In the future, because this is weird not going to
I was about to
games after the last 4 years not going to games.
Yeah.
This is really strange. But that's week 1 of our show. We hope that you have enjoyed it. You can go back and watch it anytime on YouTube. And this is Irish Bill and Seminole Bob. And got any parting words there, Bob?
Looking forward to game week, man. I
Game
mean,
week.
it's like we see. Well, of course, Alabama high school teams always start early. We knew that, but some teams, were playing for their fourth or fifth or sixth time.
Yeah, in Alabama, I watched the last week. I saw Thompson High School against Hewitt.
Thompson's a powerhouse now.
Hewitt. I'm trying to remember there. But anyways, two great programs there, and the stadium was beautiful.
Right.
And a young quarterback from I believe it was from Hewitt. No, it's from Thompson. The kid's a junior, and you know who he replaced. I mean, Threa,
Yeah.
Tua's younger brother, was there at Thompson.
Right.
And before he's now at Maryland now. But this young man, he's going to be something. And I heard rumors leaning towards Tennessee right now. But great things. And we want to thank you once again for we're all by ourselves here in the front area of Culver's. And want to thank Randy and Honey Smith once again for allowing us to come in to their house so that we can come into your house wherever you may be here on this Wednesday night, September 23rd.
Getting close. We had the autumnal solstice. Days are getting shorter. Or the days are getting shorter, getting darker earlier. A little cooler weather out there.
Now, what's nice is we're going to be sitting up there on top of the stadium, and it's not going to be warm like it is in mid-August. But hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate this year
That
for
first
us.
game. I mean, I literally went home and wringed my shirt out in the tub. So that's one part of a little silver lining to COVID. And but looking forward to my second season with you and very successful Navarre Raider football.
Most definitely. For Irish Bill, this is
Seminole Bob.
Until next Wednesday, because we don't have a game yet.
Right.
We'll be week 4 at home against Choctaw. Then we'll be on the road at Niceville the week following. But you'll catch us every Wednesday night here from Culver's in downtown Navarre, a block and a bridge from beautiful Navarre Beach.
It's still there.
It's still there, thank God. And until next Wednesday night, may the wind ever be at your back. This is Irish Bill signing off.
Seminole Bob. God bless.
Good night, Navarre.
Good night.